Hello everyone, I'm Plankara, and today we're going to continue to draw Manticore from Arknights. Been going at this for a little while, but I do draw a little bit slowly, and I'm still getting used to talking and drawing at the same time. So I guess it's not too surprising. But I'm hoping we'll be able to finish this fairly soon. Right off the start here, I was noticing that I think the angle on this fingernail was wrong. So I wanted to fix that real quick, have it match the overall shape of the finger a little bit better. And then from there, compared to her other fingers, I felt like this index finger was a little bit thick. So I was gonna smooth that out just a little. Maybe somewhere around there. We'll see how it goes once I make the index finger good. I'm just gonna shave a little bit off the top here, and then probably a little bit off the bottom, near the other end. We'll just smooth this out. Let's see how that goes. There we go. Just try to get this closer to the same thickness as the other ones. I'm also wondering if it's a little bit long still. It should be a bit shorter than the middle finger. So I think it is. I'm gonna go shorten it just a little bit. Maybe even a little bit more than that. Like the other ones are bent, whereas this one is straight. I'm just gonna do a little check. I'm gonna just grab the whole thing here, and we're just gonna directly compare them. Yeah, that seems pretty good. Okay. Now I can go back to getting the thickness right, and then making it smooth. And then I can go back to working on the sleeve. As always, I just do work on things in the order that it happens to be bothering me the most. Once I get all my ideas down, it's just a matter of refining everything and making it look nice. The distinction between my sketches and my final pieces, well, they get a little bit fuzzy. Since I do just directly refine what is essentially my sketch. Alright, before I do any more, I'm just going to adjust the shading a little bit to make it a little bit easier for me to tell what's going on. Yeah. I don't want her fingers to be too skinny. I don't mind this looking, this fingertip where it's kind of supposed to be squished into the other one. Looking just a little bit extreme. Sometimes a little bit of exaggeration can be healthy in this kind of style. I'll just run across here. Try to get this to a nice thickness. And then from there I can just clean everything up again. There we go. That looks a little bit better than it did before. Let's try to get a couple of spots that show signs of joints and maybe a little bit of meatiness. Just to stop the finger from looking quite so stringy. Or noodly. Maybe something like this. I think that looks pretty nice. Just gonna go in and make sure everything is smooth before I start really getting all the shading where I want it. This way I can just lock transparent pixels, stop myself from being able to color outside the lines, and be able to get everything where I want it to be. Makes life a little bit easier. You don't need to make life any harder than it needs to be. Especially when you're drawing hands, which tend to be a little bit difficult to begin with. Alright. I think I have most of the shading the way I want it. But we'll just come in and make sure. Make sure everything looks nice, make sure everything's nice and smooth. You know, the usual. Stuff I've kind of talked about for a while. Sometimes I worry that I'm repeating myself a little bit too much. But I worry about a lot of silly things. I'm not sure if I like that lump. Let's make it just a little bit less noticeable. I'll just take off a little bit of shadow around here. Keep smoothing it out. Really get in there. There we go. Okay. I think I'm gonna worry about shading the rest of this fingertip once I duplicate the hands and I can see what they look like. Kind of squished together. I do want to fix this though. Just noticed a little bit of blobbiness right around here. And I don't like the way it looks, and it's bothering me. That should be a little bit better. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go hide the leaves again and gonna resume work on this sleeve. I remember I was having a little bit of trouble getting everything nice and smooth here, because my allergies were killing me the day that I drew this. Spring is coming. No, spring's not coming. Spring is here. Everything's coming to life again. I'll miss when everything is just totally dead. Winter is kind of nice in that regard, just everything's sleeping on the ground. Doesn't aggravate my allergies on me. Just... yeah, I think that's probably good enough. Okay, so I'm gonna go back down to this layer. We're gonna get the other seam in here. Let me see. About how far away is that? I need to check that in the reference. Not too far. So it's probably right about here. Always have trouble drawing just thin little lines like this. That's why I don't do line art. I'll just go in and clean up the sketch. Oh. Yeah, I'm trying to keep a constant distance between every part of this line and the pink part of the belt here, so I'm going to take it a little bit slower. It's good to have confidence in your strokes, but I have no confidence, so it's okay. I'll do what works. Which is probably going to be me getting something down and then going in and adjusting it from there. It all works out in the end. Even if I'm not the best at this kind of thing, as long as I just do what I am good at, and then use that to kind of compensate for the parts that I'm not quite as confident in, it can all work out. I'll just make parts that need to be a little thicker, a little bit thicker. Parts that need to be a little bit thinner, a little bit thinner. And we can pretend like I can draw lines. See, it's not looking so bad. There we go. Now it's getting kind of smooth. About the width I want it. There we go. Now one more. So I use a drawing glove, but it's not wanting to run right against my tablet right. My hand keeps getting stuck. But I think I fixed it. No, just sliding down my arm a little bit. Because I have very small hands. No, not quite. We're getting there, though. Okay. This is probably close enough for me to just adjust the part that's not quite right manually. So I do want to just have a peek down in there to begin with. Yeah. Just like that. Or just smooth out the parts that I don't really like. And it should look great. Alright. I think this is looking alright. just add my little indent right there. I'm going to take one more look at the reference here. It does look like it kind of expands outward from there, but because it's still resting on her arm here, I think this is actually still correct. Right here is looking a little bit blobby, so I want to fix that. There we go. Okay, then there's this little kind of ice-shaped charm on there. Let me see. Is there enough of the arm showing that you'd see that? I don't actually think there is. But I do think I want to highlight on this because the pink part is shiny. So we're gonna grab some yellow. I've put an orange yellow. Draw directly on there. I think that's a good color. I might need to make it a little bit brighter, but we'll start here for now. I'll just add in kind of a shiny spot where the light hits. As you can see, I locked transparent pixels again, so that this way I can't color outside the lines. Makes life simpler. Up. And around. Just make a simple little highlight. Alright. The other sleeve I will work on once I work on that other hand. We're just gonna leave that there. I think that sleeve is pretty much done. Still need to work on the part where it kind of connects to the shoulders and everything, but I'm gonna do that later. Right now, I want to go in and finish this hand. So now I know exactly where the code is, which means I can go in and finish smoothing out the hands and then put in the shadows. Now I know exactly where those shadows will be. It's kind of hard to know where a cast shadow is going to be when you don't know where the thing that's casting that shadow is going to be. Alright. So first, let's make sure everything is as I want it here. I think I'm going to use my darkest color for the cast shadow from the sleeve, because the sleeve is just sitting right on top, so it's very close, and not a lot of light is going to be able to get in. So first I'll define kind of where this hand is turning. So you can see this is the palm and this is the side. So I want to make sure that I have that correct. I can see that there's a little bit of dirt I'm going to have to pick up on the pinky, but honestly, I'm okay with leaving it like that for right now. Just to make sure I know exactly which parts need to go away. Now I'm showing a little bit of the meat of the side of the hand. It's kind of going to go like this. Yeah. I think I like that. Now we'll get the thumb. Just where the cast shadow from these fingers are. And this is looking a little bit rough right here. I want to go in and fix that real quick. There we go. That's better. Not too much correction needed. Right, now I want to make sure that I get shadow from these fingers here. And then probably just a little bit extra from that muscle right here. And a touch more detail. Hopefully make things look a little bit more interesting. There we go. Kind of define where some of these muscles are. A lot of this I could have done before doing the sleeve, but now that the sleeve is done, I can just do all of it at once. Just be done with these hands. That sounds wonderful right now. Alright, let's get the shadow in here. It doesn't need to be too much. And we'll note it getting a little bit further away as it gets lower. The top here, it's super close. Just a little line of shadow. Finding it, and then it gets further away, so the shadow gets a little further away too. Yeah. Alright, now let's go fix up that extra... those extra pixels on the pinky. Was it not on the pinky? It isn't. Oh. Surprising. There we go. Now I can just fix up this part. So you can see I'm kind of doing it again, where it's very close, kind of flattens right out into a line. And where it gets a little farther away, I'll let the shadow get a little further away too. And we got some spots to fix on the pinky after that. Just right through here. There. Nothing too complicated. Although I guess having some things on different layers can make things a little more complicated than they need to be. Alright, I think that's looking pretty good. Let's duplicate this. Right now I'm going to focus on getting the hands just where I want them. And we'll move the sleeves around to compensate. I'm not going to do any additional details on the hands just yet. I want to make sure that I like the way they look first, which means I need to spend a little bit of time looking away from them, where I can really just make sure that they're good. That's just kind of how my process works. Yeah. Isn't that nice? It's already looking a bit more lively. So I want to go back and start working on her jaw. Start smoothing out the head a little bit. I don't have the hair completely defined, but I have most of where I want the outer rim to be. So I think that's enough for me to start working on her head. I guess before I do that, I want to fix her blush, because you can see there's this part where I had to move it around and it kind of overlapped. I always like to do it like this, where I just latch on the colors, the color there, and then I blur it so much it becomes kind of transparent. I've always kind of liked the way that works out. Kinda lets me control how strong the blush is and how far off it goes. I think I want a little bit more on the nose. There we go, wrong layer. This is the hazard of working with lots of layers. There we go. Okay, now let's move this up. And we'll redraw this too. This time I'll be a little bit more precise. Make it the lines the way I want them. I want them to be pretty thin. There we go. Yeah. I can vary them up a little bit. Kind of wanted them all going roughly the same direction though. I'll just kind of parallel. And we just reduce the opacity until I like the way it looks. There we go. I think that's pretty good. And now we can start smoothing things out here. I don't think I'm quite ready to draw the hair shadows. I mostly just want the shape of her head to be a little bit more defined here. Let me see, are her ears in the correct place? Roughly, I think. I think it is going to be more like that. Okay, now I'm going to zoom in and get everything nice and smooth. I think I should be able to do that at this point. Let me just get the other finger shadow in here. It's going to be pretty rough still. I don't really want to smooth that out until I'm sure I like the hands. Yeah, this is already looking pretty good. This is just some low-hanging fruit that I really wanted to work on. So every time I look at it, it kind of bothers me. I'll probably go back and forth and figure out just how thick and round I want certain parts of her chin to be. Manticore has a pretty thin face. And a pretty squishy one at that. I don't want it to be too thick. I'm also trying to be very careful not to actually change the location of her chin. I am a little confused. There we go. That's better. I had the wrong color there for a moment. I thought I had the right one. And I was just like, wait, why is all this color wrong? And that color is wrong too, I think. Let's pull it from the finger. There we go. That's a bit better. We'll just go around here. And gently kinda define the edge of the jaw here. So I think if I wanted to define the side of her face, it would be like over here. But that part is covered by hair. So I'm not worried about it. We'll just leave the shadows like that. I think this is in the wrong spot. Don't want her to look too jowly. Okay, and something I noticed while I was working on that, I think this iris is actually needs to be just a little bit further this way so that it's looking at the viewer. And I actually think that pupil is a little off center, so I'm gonna go push it a little further this way. It's very important to get the gaze of the character looking right. I really want to make sure that it looks like she's looking at the viewer. Okay, I think that's a little bit better. There we go. I think that this ear was a little bit too high up. I'm gonna lower it down. And while I'm over here, I think I want to fill in this ear a little bit more. Right now there's a lot of little holes. Kinda get everything roughly where I think it should be. Manticore's ears are pretty big. Big and pointy. I just kinda... I'm not gonna go in and make sure they're super smooth or anything. I just want to get a better idea of where they are. Because I don't quite think I have her jaw in exactly the right position. I think I need to shave off a little bit more down here. And knowing the location of the ear can kind of help with that, since it kind of connects to just roughly where the jaw connects to the rest of the head too. See, more so than proportions and anatomy, I think knowing where things connect to everything else can be very helpful in figuring out where things go or why a certain part of your picture looks wrong. There we go. It's a little better. Alright, I think I've looked away from the hands long enough that I can see that I do like them. So I'm gonna go spend a little bit of time poking out where they connect now. I just want kind of a dark shadow right between them. There we go. Not too much detail, just a little shadow. little shadow where they touch. They're right next to each other. The snow light will get between her fingers. Right, then I think I want to add a little highlight to her fingernails. Maybe not quite that bright. Let's go mix a color. A lot of the time when I'm doing highlights, I like to use soft light, but I think it's a little bit too soft with this. So we'll just put in some little highlights. Just a little line, doesn't have to be a lot. Sometimes less is more. There we go. And with the hands finished off like that, I can finally do the finger shadows. And I can finish off the hair too. But before I do that, I think I gotta do her other sleeve. So this way I can get where the cast shadows on this hand are gonna be. So let's do that real quick. Clear out everything that was there. Alright. My nose is getting a little bit itchy again. Guess everything's starting to wake up and spread pollen. Alright, gonna correct the overall shape first. Kinda want it hanging off her hand there. Which means it's gonna be angled kinda like this. It's gonna go all the way off. It's not gonna fall down like that. Finding the layer this little extra bit was sticking out from, and we'll get rid of that. We don't need that there. Different pixels belong there. And that's okay. We want everything where it belongs. It'll be happier there. Okay, and then before I go in and add all the lights and stuff, we'll just smooth all this out. And remember way at the beginning when I was just getting all this down, I picked the shadow color to draw this part because it was overlapping the lower part of her coat. I needed to be able to differentiate between them. It's not really an issue anymore, is it? It's kind of amazing how far this has come in just the time I've been working on this. And just blobs. Everything just starts as blobs or scribbles. we take those blobs and scribbles and turn them into something more recognizable, and nicer, and prettier. Those blobs and scribbles are the foundation, and we should respect everything they did for us. Just how much those blobs and scribbles let me see. So I could figure out everything I wanted to do. There we go. Now look at this side. You know, I think I said for the past 3 streams that I have some junk on my monitor that I really need to clean off, because I keep seeing things and think that they're pixel dirt. But I still haven't done it. With so much to do. Sometimes little things like that can get caught up in the wayside. It happens. Alright. Before I go in put all the lights on, I want to draw the inner part of the sleeve here and make sure that I like how this is all looking. I don't know, do I want this to come out? Yeah, I think that looks better. Oh yeah, I think this looks fine. So we'll come back on up here. Get my colors. And then we'll put the lights back on. Something like this. I don't know. I'm just kind of playing with it right now. Just trying to make it look a little more interesting. I got this little spot that's kind of doing something like this. It's a little bit different from the other side. Just kind of feeling this little fold out right here. Well, let's see. You can kind of see it goes like that, which means that there's gonna be just like something like this going on. Maybe not quite that hard, but I think this is mostly correct. And it'll kind of go down like this, I can kind of make it however I want. I can kind of improvise. It doesn't have to be exact. Just trying to make it look a little interesting. I'm not entirely sure how I want it to look, so I'm just kind of trying things and seeing how all that works out. I'm trying to make this cloth look kind of thick, so I'm making my shadows a bit rounder than I would otherwise. It's thin cloth. It'd make the shadows very pointy. Since the cloth is kind of thick, I'm trying to make them kind of more rounded. Alright. Yeah, I think this looks pretty good. Kinda looks like it's sitting on her wrist and then falling off. I like it. And I'll just smooth out this little fold, much like I've been doing with everything else. I think that should be good. Okay. Now we draw that pink belt. About how far away from it is it? Maybe like... yeah, about here, I think. We'll just have it follow the contour of the sleeve. Once again. Just like how I did it with the other one. Just gotta do it again. These people have 2 arms. Sometimes I find this a little bit unfortunate, both in the terms of sometimes I wish I had way more than 2 arms, and when it comes to drawing, arms are definitely my nemesis. So having to do them twice is always a bit rough. Fortunately, I don't really have any arms to draw here. That's kind of funny because I do find arms way more difficult than hands. I'm not sure why. There's something about their tubular nature that gets to me. I'll just kind of get the general shape here. I think that's pretty good. And I'll go in and make it smooth. Then we can shade it. That's kind of the basics of my workflow. Draw a shape, make it smooth, shade it. And sometimes if I can't picture the shape in 3D space, I'll shade it first. Or at least get some hints of shading to kind of help me understand which parts are further forward, which parts are further back, which parts are in shadow, which parts are in light. It can help me with the perspective. Whatever works. We don't have to be picky. Digital is very forgiving and very free. You can just learn so many different techniques and find the ones that just make sense for how our brains work. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. I like making hills like this just a little bit rounder in their shadows. There we go. Have it just extend a little bit further, because it's not perfectly matching up with the sleeve. It's sitting on top. At least that's how I picture it in my head. Now I want to add a little shadow over here to give it some thickness. This way the belt won't look like it's just as thin as paper. It'll have a bit of thickness to it. I'll have to do this to the jacket again once I finish this. Alright. I think that's looking pretty good. Let's zoom out. Yeah. I think that's great. Now let's get this little highlight on there. I think this highlight is going to be a little further down compared to the other one. Something like right around here. Just deciding that because of how it looks like the belt is folding on the sleeve in my head. So just color that in. And we'll get all of this just looking nice and smooth as always. There we go. Yeah, I think that looks really nice. So now before I go in and add these, the little seams here over on this side, I want to add a little bit more darkness to the rim here and give the coat some thickness so it doesn't look quite so paper thin. Just kind of brush it in right on the edge. didn't quite like that spot, so I just wanted to fill it in a little. It was looking a little blobby. I'll just go right on down, all the way to the edge here. There. And we'll just get this a little bit smoother. Adding the darker contrast here is making it look a little blobby to my eyes. Oh, I just want to clean it up a little. Make it look really nice. There we go. Alright, let's get those little seams now. So there's one like right through here. No, that's no good. Let's try again. My brush a bit thinner so I can press harder. It's too close to the edge. Okay, a lot of the time these kinds of things take me a few tries. I'll just keep trying until I like it. That's how I roll. Glove is sliding up in my hand again and making not want to slide across my tablet properly. Okay, now I just want to smooth out these couple of spots that I don't really like the looks of. They're kind of lobbed out due to my unsteady hand. I think this one should go a little bit more over here to follow the one above it. I'll just make these fine adjustments until I'm satisfied. I try not to get too stuck on these details, but I do want them to at least, match up and look okay together. Nope, these should be on this side this time. I want them to be on the side the light is coming from, which is kind of toward the center. Okay, and then just as one minor detail, I was noticing that I was not casting a shadow on the belt. It's going to be just kind of a thin one, but there should be one there. This one's going to kind of get lost over here, I think, and kind of come back out over here. Just due to how the shape I drew this in. I'll do the same for the other side. Don't want the other side to feel left out. It needs all its nice shadows too. Very important for giving this belt a sense of presence. like it actually exists here. Alright, I think that's the sleeves done. See how I like them next time I take a look at this? Sometimes I just need some time to look away. Did notice there was a little gap right there that needed to fix, but so far so good. I think everything's looking pretty good. I do think I will stop there for today. Pretty glad that the hands and sleeves are done now. Go ahead and turn on the foreground. And we'll make sure to save. So thank you for coming. If there's anything of yours that you'd like me to take a look at, whether that be drawing, painting, writing, coding, game design, any creative pursuit you can think of, please feel free to DM me on Twitter or Instagram and I'll take a look. Maybe leave some comments. So thank you again. I'll see you all tomorrow.